Hey, how's it going, everybody? Andrew McFadyen-Ketchum here on day 23 of reading my second book, poem by poem, to you. My second book, Visiting Hours, just came out on March 12th, which is quickly becoming part of the past, with Stephen F. Austin University Press. And I started reading this poem by poem, day by day, because, of course, with coronavirus, I had to cancel all my events, and the book came out right when I started quarantining, and I was trying to think of a way to share it with you. And this past week, I only read one poem. This is the second to last poem, and I'm not sure why I haven't read it to you yet. I think it's a hard poem. The whole book is about one of my best friends growing up named Mary Interlandy. She took her life in 2003 here in Nashville, Tennessee. It's, I used this book I wrote this book as a exploration of what that experience was like of losing somebody and the way that I lost her and that we as a community lost her, and healed through the book. But I'm finding myself very sad to be reaching the end. I only have one poem to read to you after this, which I'll do Tuesday, I think. Maybe I'll wait a few days. I don't know. I'm just kind of going with the feeling. But I don't know. I'm sad to be leaving it. So I don't know. Maybe I'll find some way to continue to share this book with y'all continually. I'm going to be doing some interviews, and some reviews are coming out and things like that. I'll obviously share that, but I think in a way I've sort of felt like she was a little bit alive again. Well, apparently that's the problem through reading this to you. So I'm just sad to be getting close to the end. Okay, sorry about that. I'll read this poem to you now. It's called On the 100th Anniversary of Mary's Death. And I should just sort of explain that this book gets very, it's a strange book. As it progresses, it gets sort of weirder and stranger. And of course, Mary's only been dead for, 17 years. Not 100. So this is, of course, an imagining. It starts with an epigraph. It's the only poem, I believe, in the book. I know there are two poems in the book with an epigraph. This is from Mechanical Animals by Marilyn Manson. We were neurophobic and perfect the day that we lost our souls. Maybe we weren't so human, but if we cry, we will rust. And I was a hand grenade that never stopped exploding. You were automatic, as hollow as the O in God. This is on the 100th anniversary of Mary's death. No notice arrives in the mail. No, we do not convene above her body in a smaze of visitation and candlelight. Her casket is not raised on a castored granite slab. My hands do not grip its stone-cold edge. The cold jewels of Mary's eyes do not flap open in the dark. Mary's cold hands do not press against her coffin's velvet ceiling. Mary's mouth does not open into a scream. No, on the 100th anniversary of Mary's death, we do not form a procession of SUVs and sedans to rattlesnake our right of way through the flooding of the city. We do not flash our headlights past boarded-up courthouses and nail salons. There are no grocery carts constellatory in the abandoned Super Target parking lot. We do not descend into the damp ilium of the 7th Street Viaduct branded with swastikas tagged to the asses of giant spray-painted swine, a caricature of Congress muzzled by a gag in the shape of the Kraft corporate logo in brilliant yellows and greens and reds. This is not a test. This is not a test. This is not a test. Some stranger sings on the radio's emergency broadcast system. No, we do not bear her casket across the Shelby Street walking bridge that does not seesaw wildly as a bassinet above the Cumberland. A fleet of mechanical ravens do not rise and drop on the last thermal the city will ever know. The last river does not rage beneath us. Not a single box of emergency supplies or sleeper cars or sabotage barges is jackstrawed or burning or evidence on the water's riddled and useless banks. No, we do not construct a perfect circumference of bodies and hands around her grave. We do not taste her ashes, do not turn counterclockwise around that rectangular socket, or flick choice tokens onto her coffin. For me, a collection of rechargeable AAAs, from her sisters, a handful of glittering hand-me-downs. All of it never tetrising neatly into the void into which her body is not lowered, across which we do not sprinkle shovelfuls of soil that do not lock into place to sprout before our very eyes a new strain of invasive switchgrass. An entire grounds crew is neither interviewed nor drug-tested, nor poorly trained to tend, as my colleagues in grief and dark suits do not funnel back into their cars as rain in dramatic sheets does not begin to fall above all the black umbrellas that do not snap open like dark planets above the graves. The undertaker, unoccupied with the earth, displaced by her body, he must trowel into the hole in the lapel above his eager and exhausted heart. Neither do we leave her body where it lies in the street, the wind-up toys of automated vultures waddling in their perches in the gray and sullen architecture. Neither do we sing any funereal songs or turn the pages of a hymnal. Instead, we sit patiently in padded folding chairs arranged in perfect columns in her high school auditorium, hands crocused in our laps. Instead, we've had our suits and khakis dry cleaned and pressed, and we furrow our brows as we listen to the words of the chosen from a backlit podium. Her principal talks of Mary's wide smile and 4.0. Her long-haired ex-boyfriend chokes something youthful into the microphone about just how fucked up this shit really is. And when her drama teacher appears from backstage in the top-heavy Snoopy costume Mary donned for the freshman play to perform Your Good Man, Charlie Brown, a baby cries, a pianist strikes a sinful chord, a sneeze someone fails to stifle, echoes in the cavernous hall. No, we are not constructing a nest of limbs and fine oils. We are not raising a mourning tower. No, we are not placing her body on the nest. We are not wrapping her body in silks. No, we are not pushing the nest into the center of the water. We are not hoisting her body to the tower's apex. We are not launching a flaming arrow into the sky. We won't release a flock of crudely machined crows to storm the heavens. We aren't watching the nest burn into a pyre. We're not steering the birds to her figure. We're not watching her burn. We're not watching the crows take her apart in the clicking of their mouths. We are not shielding our eyes from the rise of the sun. We don't know how to track the crow's flight through a burning cloud with our eyes. We are not propping our little girls and little boys on our shoulders for a better view of fire. We are not whispering into their ears, "Look, isn't Mary beautiful? Don't you wish you could fly?" No, the crows are not responding. We do not. We do not. We do not. And no, that isn't she who appears on stage in the midst of a bantling sermon on free will, a vague apparition, an array, a cellophane light, the body and bone of her atoms swimming up stage left like a tab effervescing in a 12-ounce glass. No, that isn't Mary standing behind the boy performing his best off-key rendition of Jeff Buckley's Hallelujah above his guitar, flesh and blood, body and heart, the gasps of we mourners. No, this isn't the moment before we see she's nothing more than a cardboard cutout of the birth of Venus, propped against a wall, adrift in the fog of a machine no one admits to clicking on and dashing headlong and wild through the exit door. Instead, we eat cheese on crackers, and drink Australian Shiraz from clear plastic cups in the foyer. Instead, we make visors of our hands to shield the glare of fluorescence reflected in Mary's blown-up stills. Snapshots of stairs cut into the stone of a mountain, Nepalese children beaming and bedraggled before a straw hut, a shaman naked in dreads on a wheel of stone. No, she doesn't peer at us from her portraits. The hallway fluorescence neither shudder nor blink. No one thinks to question the light. Strangers and friends wander by with their refreshments. Her sisters stand awkwardly by the door. And no, I know nothing of the buzzard who clicks and whirls and sparks when it opens its wings. No, I know nothing of this bird some say beckons to follow it back into the quiet auditorium. Chairs stacked expertly in a corner, stage lights dim to zero. No, I do not notice the grainy conduit of light that rises center stage. I do not descend the creaky trap door ladder into the belly of the K through 12, down flight after flight of cinderblock stairs to a passageway of earth-cut walls and damp roots. No, I am not following a Bix lighter fluid and flint down this passageway that does not taper like a drain pipe to a levee of stone where a nickel-plated keyhole does not flicker with song. No song, no keyhole. I do not witness the dancing figures through your porthole of silver tumbles. I do not observe the swaying of breasts or the jiggling of scrotums of the silhouettes who silently toss their bodies into and around the blaze that brews in the room's center. No cool plate of nickel plate I press not my eye against. No flat plane of stamped metal without key I do not peer through. Those aren't her ashes the dancers toss by handful into the flame. Those aren't Mary's makings that flash and flare and come alive in the air above the fire around which the dancers jiggle and wriggle and coo. These forms do not turn white with her ashes. No, those forms do not rub her remains into a paste in the sweat of their chests. I've no idea what they scribe there. I won't repeat. I will not sing whatever missives that fire speaks. And no, Mary, no, my mother, no, her father, whose speech ran too long at my wedding. I do not spy the china blue urn that wobbles back and forth in a corner of the room. No, my father, no, her mother. I do not see how the urn rocks slowly to a halt. I do not see the whiskers of the mouse that first appear from that dark chamber, nor the entire body of the mouse that soon emerges, blue-gray and soft with the duff of ashes. No, Mary, you do not twitch before the dancers. No, my mother, the dancers do not stitch their hands together into a bridge of souls from mouse to my eye. No, her father, your daughter does not climb onto the lead supplicant's offered palm. No, my father, it does not scamper across the bridge of souls, bridge of bodies. No, her mother, your child does not wriggle through the keyhole and leap onto my shoulder to sniff nervously, delicately, lovingly at my ear. No, Mary, you do not cling to my button-down with your tiny, luxurious, star-shaped feet. No, my mother, the mouse does not enter my breast pocket. No, her father, your daughter does not work down from body to skin sack to bone to a thimble of ash. No, her mother, I will not dip my hands into your child's body. I will not bring my hands to my lips. No, girl I loved, I will say your name no more.